Welcome into Intercollegiate Conversations, as we're pleased to be joined today by the first-year head coach at Mercer of their men's basketball team, Coach Ryan Ritter. And Coach, appreciate the time. I want to jump right into it. Just tell us about your story, because I do think it's interesting how you worked your way up the college ranks, now at Mercer. Not your first head coaching job. You were hired as a very young guy to be a Division I head coach. You played college basketball, but in your words, tell us just about your story, how you got into coaching, and how you got to this point now where you're the head coach at Mercer.
Yeah, first off, Luke, thanks for having me, and always enjoy getting a chance to just hopefully share some knowledge and tell a little bit about my journey. But you said it a little bit. Obviously, I grew up in a basketball household. My dad's a Division II head coach. Hall of Famer, 700 and something wins. So basketball's kind of been ingrained, and I was fortunate, got a chance to play for him in college. Graduated from Embry-Riddle University, and really knew I wanted to impact people and give back to the next generation. Didn't know exactly how to do it, and obviously coaching basketball was kind of my way of using that vehicle, and so went straight from there. And I was a high school coach up at North Raleigh Christian, and came back for a year and worked for my dad, and was basically a volunteer assistant, living at home with them and working a couple side jobs. Went from there, got 25 years old, man, Division I assistant. Coach Lang took a chance on a young guy, and forever thankful for him. Spent 3 years there, had some great years. Worked with some great guys, Charles Baker, Brian Berg, Cole Dewey. But again, Coach Lang giving me an opportunity at age 25 that most guys don't get. And from there, I was very fortunate. 28 years old, I get a chance to be a head coach, and at a junior college program that had success. Had guys like Brad Underwood as the head coach there. So age 28, get a chance to be head coach at Daytona State, took over a six-win program, and was fortunate to be there 4 years and won four championships. So, I was there my third, fourth year, kind of get the itch to maybe do something different. And, thought I might try to go back to be a Division I assistant. Didn't know if it'd be a Division II head opportunity, but, messed around with a couple different things, and kind of right at the last hour, Bethune-Cookman came in and interviewed me, and ultimately offered me an opportunity to be a Division I head coach at age 32. And not just to be a Division I head coach, but to be a Division I head coach in my hometown, Daytona Beach, Florida, a gym that I was very familiar with, a campus that I'd grown up playing AAU on. And so we were there and had three very successful years. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we won the second Division I championship in school history, and have the highest career Division I winning percentage and MEAC winning percentage. So was there 3 years and got a chance to go to Martin, and took over for another really unfortunate situation where Coach Anthony Stewart had passed away, and a little bit of a cloud on the program, and trying to revive that. So again, took over a program that I think had won 8 games the previous year, and by year three we were competing for championships and had a chance to win an OVC regular season championship last year. And shoot, here I am, first year head coach at Mercer, and fired up to be in the SoCon, fired up to be in Macon, fired up to be at Mercer University.
Yeah, and anyone not familiar can Google you. You've had success everywhere you've gone. You've been able to win and win quick at each program, allowing you to move up the ladder. I do want to ask you, though, about your first head coaching job. When you take that job at a junior college, I worked in baseball for a long time, and there was this negative connotation if you were not in affiliated baseball. If you were in independent baseball, you were kind of looked down upon by those in affiliated baseball. Was there any concern for you when you go to like a junior college and you're leaving the Division I ranks? Was there concern that it would be hard to get back to the Division I ranks? Was that a thought at all?
Yeah, I mean, you're right on the money. I think there is a negative stigmatism sometimes with, with junior college athletics, and the truth is, I think every job is what you make it. And I was 28, and unfortunately, it was time for a change at Campbell, and Coach Lang had been let go, so I really was jobless at that point, and was looking at a lot of different things, and thought Daytona State may open that particular year, and it was a job I was interested because, I grew up in small college basketball, but I didn't really have a background of junior college. So as I started digging into it, Brian Berg's the one that really, kind of showed me how valuable and how important junior college basketball was, because when I took over Daytona State, I was learning how to recruit. I was running my own program. I was doing so many different things for Daytona State. But what I was also doing was I was networking with all kinds of Division I guys that were coming in to recruit our players. So it was really the best of both worlds. I'm developing those relationships with AAU guys, with high school guys, with other college coaches to get their transfers. But at the same point, I mean, it would be any given day where there'd be 10, 15, 20 Division One coaches in our building to recruit our guys. So I say it all the time, those 4 years there, my network, it got so much bigger, just from the pure fact of us having guys that we need to recruit, but also having recruitable athletes. So I think there's obviously concern and fear of you're in Division One, and maybe you look at it as taking a step back to being junior college. But man, you look around today, Luke, there's so many good junior college guys that have gotten the opportunity in Division One and are crushing it. Steve Forbes, Hank Plona just got hired at Western Kentucky. There's so many guys with junior college backgrounds that are having success at the highest levels.
Leads me to my next question, which we always ask coaches, administrators about networking. And it seemed like, as you laid out, I mean, that played a huge role for you. So just if you could speak on that, how important is networking when it comes to being a college coach and trying to advance in this industry?
Well, I think networking is extremely important, no matter what profession you're in. And I think there's, a couple different ways to go about it. Networking is unique because it's invaluable to what we do, right? We recruit guys. We're using relationships to really build our rosters in the future. But networking sometimes, it's got to be genuine. And, I'm a believer of having genuine relationships. Maybe my network is maybe not as big, but I've got my core group of guys or individuals or coaches or administrators or people that I've worked with, that I trust, that I can go to, whether it's for advice, whether it's for recruiting, whether it's for mentorship. So I think networking plays a huge role in what we do. But I would encourage, not networking just to network. Why are we like? Why do I network? I do it for a couple different reasons. One is absolutely we've got to replenish, we've got to refuel, we've got to get players in here every year. So I better have a great network of guys that I can trust and count on to recruit. And the next part is personal and professional growth. I've got to have a group of guys that I trust, that I can seek out to, that will tell me the truth even when I don't want to hear it. And some of those guys have grown on to be some of the best college and or coaches in college basketball. Some of them are at lower levels, but I still have unbelievable the most respect for those guys. So my network is pretty wide, just because of I've worked in junior college, I've worked in NAI, I've worked in Division One. I've worked at played Division Three, played NAI, you worked in high school. So the networking is it's key. But I would just encourage, hey, make sure you're building genuine relationships and not doing it just to use people.
Yeah, yeah, which I think is great advice. Let me ask you, during your career, I mean, we know about name, image, likeness, transfer portal, all that sort of stuff. But I want more of the coaching side of things, not necessarily the X's and O's, but everything else that goes into the job. How much do you think things have changed since you first became a college coach to now, just in terms of being a college basketball coach?
It's a really good question. I think, everyone talks about the changing landscape. Everybody. I mean, you can't get on a call without somebody talking about it. But I believe, man, that I wake up every day with the same mentality I did when I was a 23-year-old assistant, high school coach, and that's to impact young people. And I think whenever that mission changes, then I probably got to look at doing something outside of basketball. I think that there's probably more transactional decisions that are being made in college basketball, but I think the forefront, the reason that I wake up and coach basketball today, it hasn't wavered, it hasn't changed. I think when you attack it that way, just like any profession, you look at real estate, you look at running a business, you look at, being a pastor, like things in life change, but the more they change, the more they stay the same. And for me, like it hasn't changed, man. I wake up every day. I want to love on these guys. I want them to be better husbands, better fathers. I want them to be successful members of our society. And along with that, if you're going to adapt with the world, you have to have your non-negotiables, and you have to have a flexible approach. And I think my approach has probably changed. Wanted to be such a disciplinarian when I was 27, 28, 29, showing guys I was demanding respect. Where I think that the biggest change for me is just understanding. Hey, I've got three daughters now. I probably my patience is probably pretty high. I treat them like I would treat my daughters. I want to help them. I want to encourage them. I want to learn from them, but I want them to be their best. And so I think, although things are changing, I think if you really are in this for the reasons I am, I don't think they have changed as much.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think what you just said kind of leads me towards my next question. Um, but what have you learned throughout your career that you would tell your 21-year-old self coming out of college? What do you wish you knew then that you know now after being a coach for so many years?
The couple different things. Number one is you got to sacrifice your ego in this business. You can't compare your journey to anybody else. And I've been very fortunate. I pinch myself every day. I'm the head coach at Mercer University before my 40th birthday. That's crazy, man. Luke, I never thought I would be. I had dreamed of it, but to have all those things, yes, we've been successful. Yes, we've had some good teams, but you still got to get a pinch of luck in there. And so I think the first thing is just sacrificing your ego and not comparing your journey because your value isn't based on what someone else decides it is. If you're waking up and you're doing what you love to do, and that's impacting young people or coaching basketball, then focus on that. And the second, you start, I think I remember a couple of years ago, I think I got named top 40 under 40, the ESPN list. And I'm looking at guys now that are on there making $2-3 million, but I'm also looking at guys on there that are no longer coaching. And so if I sat there and started comparing myself every single time, you're going to set yourself up for disappointment. So that'd really be probably the biggest thing is just don't compare your journey, man. Focus on the things that you can control and then just constantly asking yourself, hey, why am I doing this? What is my purpose in life? What is my purpose in this thing? And when you can answer it the same way every day and you're fulfilled by that, then I don't think it matters the level that you coach, the opportunities you get. I think you'll be very fulfilled in the destination you choose.
That leads to the next question. And a lot of people don't like this because they don't like to brag about themselves. But as I said earlier, I mean, you've had great success. You've won everywhere you've gone and pretty much right away, as you mentioned, the 40 under 40 list. So for you, when you think back in your career so far, what are some traits you believe that have allowed you to be as successful as you have been and allowed you to get to this position before your 40th birthday?
I think it all starts with genuine relationships. Like I really care about these dudes, man. It's hard because my job is to make the best decisions for Mercer University every day. And there's times that I hurt people's feelings. There's times that I don't do what's best for them individually, but I do what's best for the group. And you got to take out your ego because there's been many times, Luke, where players are disappointed with the decisions I've made. But I think long term, I think they come back to understand that, hey, this is a guy that's cared about me. This is a guy that's got my back. So I think genuine relationships is number one. Number two is, I think I'm a pretty kind guy. I'm a nice guy. I think I'm a good husband. I think I'm a good father. But man, I've got grit. And you look at some of the jobs I've taken. Daytona State, 6 wins. We had 4 straight championships. Bethune-Cookman, one of the lowest resource institutions in the country when I was there. We were pretty dang good, man. We finished top four all 3 years, won a conference championship. So, and then you go to Martin that just didn't have a lot of traditional history basketball wise. Like you've got to have some grit to figure out, hey, how do we win here? What does it look like here? Maybe it's not what I initially envisioned, but being able to have that grit to figure it out. Hey, maybe I don't need X, Y, Z. Maybe I've got to focus my efforts and energy here. But that would probably be honestly the basis of, man, I love coaching people. I love helping people get to their best. And then in order to do that, you got to have some grit to you.
I think what you said there leads to my next question, which makes it interesting to ask you in particular, because as you said, you went to a junior college that was coming off a tough year. Bethune-Cookman, well documented some of the struggles there, even just financially over the years. For you, how important is good management and stability at the school you're going to go to? Because you have moved around. And so when you make that decision and think like, yeah, this is the right opportunity for me, how big of a role does that play when you look at that potential employer and look at stability, good management, that sort of stuff?
That's actually an awesome question because it's changed, right? So when I was 28 years old, I didn't have a job. So I didn't really care what stability, that didn't really matter. Now I got very lucky because the administration at Daytona State was awesome. We were a very, very well resourced junior college program, so that was a bonus. But if I'm being honest, I was 32 years old. I got offered a Division I head job. I didn't care. I was blindsided. I was, hey, this is a Division I job. I didn't care about facilities. I didn't care about resources. I didn't care about scholarship. I didn't care about any of that. And then I'm 36 and I get a chance to go coach in the OVC. I was born in Kentucky, so coaching in the OVC was like, whoa. I was probably blinded by some of the have-nots. And so at that particular point, the only reservation was, am I moving my family from Ormond Beach, Florida to Martin, Tennessee? You're going from golf carts and beaches to rural West Tennessee where you've got pastures and corn and farm animals, and it's different. We moved away from both sides of the family, so that was probably more. important to me than maybe the stability of the basketball program or the school. But now as we're getting older, I've got three kids, and I've got to really look long term. Is this best for our actual family unit, not just from a basketball standpoint?
Couple last ones. Intercollegiate, we've started the most comprehensive job board, intercollegiate.co. We encourage everybody to look it up, intercollegiate.co. For you, I would just ask you in general. You've gotten a few different head coaching jobs. How important do you think job boards are for coaches in college athletics? Or do you think that a lot of the hiring process is kind of who you know, word of mouth, that sort of thing? How big of a role do you think they can play for coaches at the college level?
Well, I think they, again, it depends on every situation, right? I think, this is my fourth job I've taken over. I've had a pretty good feel of the staff I was going to assemble. I think for me, just my personal experience, job boards have been very great for entry positions. I think guys that are hungry and looking and young and want to get fired up about an opportunity, I think those have been very good for us in terms of targeting some young people. I think, as I've been in this thing 18 years, a lot of decisions I've made have come from relationships from the last 5, 10, 12, 15 years. But I think any time that you're trying to break into something and you can get your name in front of people, the more I see a particular name, the more see a particular person, the more someone handwrites me a note, the more someone emails me. Like when you see them over and over, the more I see them on a job board, like I think they can be valuable. But again, I'm one person. I don't know how everybody utilizes it. I think that's where we found our success in that.
Let me put you on the spot before I let you go. You're the son of a coach, as he said. You've worked for different coaches over the years. You played for different coaches. When you think back, what is one of the best pieces of advice you think you've been given throughout your life or career that you still apply today to being a Division One coach?
It's easy. How you do anything is how you do everything. And I think that every detail matters. I think that, anytime you're willing to take a shortcut, it will backfire. It will follow you. It will get caught somewhere so how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're going to take out that trash on a Friday morning, you better make sure that lid's closed, the bags are tied, it's ready for those garbage men to come take. Because if I want to untie my bag and I leave the thing open and a raccoon gets in there, that's on me. But I've taken that motto because everything really does matter. It doesn't mean you're going to be great at it, but how you attempt to do it, I think is very important. And I think our guys understand that we're not going to be great at everything, but are we giving our best effort to everything that's being asked of us?
A lot of great insight. The last thing we do before we let you go, we try to do a quick rapid fire just to get to know you a little bit better as a coach or as a person. So let me try to get through as many of these as I can with you in about 60 seconds to finish this great conversation out. Before a game, is there a certain artist you're listening to get pumped up for the game?
NBA YoungBoy, war with us.
I like it. As a coach, any superstitions?
Um, no, not, I mean, not really.
If you're having people over and you're in charge of the dinner, what meal do you feel comfortable making to impress your guests coming over for dinner?
I'm throwing steaks on the grill.
Easy enough. I like it. Get back to music. Karaoke. You have to do karaoke. Is there a go-to karaoke song?
Mariah Carey, always be my baby.
Oh, wow. We'd love to hear that one. Which arena would you love to coach in, home or visiting coach? Which college arena would you love to coach in the most?
Duke University.
Yeah, I'm with you. What about which player all time, any basketball player, professional, college, you would love to coach the most?
Mm. Love to coach the most any player all time. Ooh, I, I mean, I'm right in between that age. I guess I gotta go LeBron, man.
Wow. Could be controversial. Last one, biggest role model in your life.
I got two. Can I tie them?
Yeah.
Mom and dad, easy.
Uh,
Everyone associates basketball with my dad, but so many of the lessons I've taken have come from both of them.
I love it. That's perfect. A big thank you once again to Coach Ryan Ritter of Mercer Men's Basketball for his time and valuable insights. And thank you to you as well for checking out our video. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page for more great content and conversations coming in the future. And also, we encourage you to check out intercollegiate.co, the most comprehensive job board out there for college athletics. Life is just a series of hellos and goodbyes. And for now, we say goodbye.